We live in the era of the voluntary confession. If you look at the architecture of your daily life, specifically the digital scaffolding that holds your social interactions together, you will notice a singular, terrifying demand. Be visible. We are told that to be seen is to exist. We have been conditioned to believe that an experience is not real until it has been documented, shared, and validated by the applause of the crowd. We treat our private lives like a commodity, mining our own emotions, our breakfasts, our tragedies, and our achievements for content. We have become our own paparazzi. The observation is clinical. We are suffering from a mass hemorrhage of the self. Society offers a false solution to the anxiety this exposure creates. It tells you to curate your image. If you feel vulnerable, they say, just manage your personal brand better. Post the highlights, filter the flaws, show the world the best version of yourself. But logically, this is not a solution. It is an aggravation of the disease. By curating a persona, you create a split between the actor, the image on the screen, and the agent, the flesh and blood human feeling the pain. The more you polish the image, the wider the gap becomes. You are not solving the problem of exposure. You are merely decorating the cage. We believe that transparency brings closeness. We think that if everyone knows everything about us, we will be understood. But the laws of human psychology suggest the opposite. Total transparency does not breed intimacy. It breeds contempt. And more dangerously, it breeds control. The thesis: privacy is not simply the act of hiding secrets. It is the thermodynamic conservation of energy. To reveal everything is to spend the potential energy of your soul. Therefore, privacy is the only mechanism by which a human being can retain power. Why do we do this? Why do we voluntarily participate in our own surveillance? To understand this, we must look at the mechanism of the Panopticon. In the 18th century, the philosopher and social theorist Jeremy Bentham designed a prison structure called the Panopticon. The design was a circle of cells arranged around a central watchtower. The prisoners could not see into the tower, but the guard could see into every cell. Because the prisoners never knew when they were being watched, they had to assume they were always being watched. Eventually, the guard could leave the tower, and the prisoners would continue to obey. They had internalized the gaze. We have built a digital panopticon. But there is a twist. We are both the prisoner and the guard. We watch each other, and we watch ourselves through the eyes of others. This is what the French existentialist Jean-Paul Sartre referred to as the look, le regard. Sartre argued that when you are alone, you are a subject. You are the center of the universe, observing the world. But the moment another person looks at you, a metaphysical shift occurs. You stop being the observer and become the observed. You become an object in their world. You are solidified. You are judged. Hell is other people. Jean-Paul Sartre. Sartre did not mean that people are annoying. He meant that other people steal your subjectivity. When you live your life publicly, you are perpetually trapped in the state of being an object. You exist to be perceived. This creates a paradox, the paradox of validity. We seek attention to prove we are significant, yet the more attention we receive, the less autonomy we possess, because our actions are no longer driven by internal will, but by the anticipation of the audience's reaction. By seeking to be known, we lose the capacity to be free. Arthur Schopenhauer, the great pessimist of the 19th century, understood this well. He posited that the vast majority of humanity is driven by the will to live, a blind, ceaseless striving. To Schopenhauer, the crowd is a collection of bipeds driven by base instinct and conformity. A man who possesses great intellectual or creative wealth, Schopenhauer argued, seeks solitude not because he hates others, but because he must protect the integrity of his mind from the noise of the common denominator. When you overshare, you allow the average, mediocre chaos of the world to invade your internal sanctum. You dilute your essence. A river that is too wide becomes shallow. A river that is narrow runs deep and cuts through stone. Privacy is the narrowing of the river. Let us move from the abstract to the concrete. Let us visualize this through a parable from the Taoist tradition. specifically from the writings of Zhuangzi. Imagine the sensory details of the Warring States period in China. The air is thick with humidity and the smell of wet earth. The logic of the time is brutality, conquest, and fame. Two officials from the royal court, dressed in fine silk robes that drag through the mud, approach the banks of the Pu River. They are looking for Zhuangzi, the legendary sage. They find him sitting in the reeds fishing. He does not turn around. The only sound is the water lapping against the shore and the distant call of a heron. The officials bow. They deliver a message from the king. We wish to burden you with the administration of the realm. The king wants to make you prime minister. You will have power, fame, and your name will be carved in stone. Zhuangzi holds his fishing pole steady. He does not look at them. He speaks to the river. I have heard, Zhuangzi says, his voice low, that there is a sacred tortoise in the kingdom of Chu that has been dead for 3,000 years. The king keeps it wrapped in silk and boxed in a shrine in the ancestral temple. He finally turns his head slightly, looking at the officials with a cold, detached eye. Now tell me, would this tortoise rather be dead and have its bones left behind and honored? Or would it rather be alive and dragging its tail in the mud? The officials, uncomfortable in their silk, reply, it would rather be alive and dragging its tail in the mud. Go away then, Zhuangzi says, turning back to the water. I will drag my tail in the mud. The reframing. This is the concept of uselessness. In a world that demands you be useful, that you be a content creator, a brand, a statistic, a known entity, the greatest power lies in being useless to the machine. When you are obscure, you are safe. When you are hidden, you can grow. Consider the physics of a seed. A seed must be buried in the dark, effectively entombing itself in order to germinate. If you dig up the seed every day to show the world how much it has grown, you kill it. Growth requires the darkness of privacy. The power Zhuangzi possessed was the power of Wu Wei, non-action or effortless action. He could only maintain his connection to the Tao, the Wei, by refusing to let the state co-opt his identity. By refusing to be someone, he remained infinite. We must synthesize this diagnosis and this ancient wisdom into a modern imperative. We are told that privacy is about hiding bad things. This is a lie used to shame you into transparency. Privacy is about protecting good things. It is about protecting the incubation of your thoughts, your relationships, and your spirit before they are ready to be consumed by the world. Power in the physics of the human soul is contained pressure. The steam engine works because the steam is enclosed. The battery works because the chemical reaction is sealed. The mind works when it is not leaking its contents into the void of the internet. Your life is not a performance. It is a struggle for meaning in a universe that is largely indifferent to you. To navigate this, you need a compass that is not magnetized by the opinions of strangers. Retain your mystery. In a world of glass houses, be the stone wall. Do not let them catch you. Do not let them classify you. Be the tortoise dragging its tail in the mud, alive, obscure, and free. Thank you for watching.